especially for Joel, these movies.
Absolutely. Just take the table and then that stuff over there.
Is there food we're going to eat?
We covered it, so we just... You get handed back when you need your neck change. That's always fine.
Things are a lot busier, as you know. My dad Joe and my mom Jill, who was due to speak today. I'm just going to say a few words on behalf of her briefly. The Saturday is a very special day for her. It's the Khatan's table, and firstly, we'd like to say thanks to Marcel and Neville, Cara, Len and Bev for putting us on and doing a great job, and thanks very much for your hospitality and warmth. Also a big thanks to Harry and Viv Rosenberg for making such a beautiful wedding for Amy and Gary. As is always Jules' way, on this table here is this white tablecloth from my bar mitzvah that my late Boba made, and it's always been at family Simchas. That denim with red of Gary is from his bar mitzvah, and those 4 cups are the wine cups from also all of our bar mitzvahs that have gone through the family. And in conclusion, I just wanted to say please enjoy the day, eat, drink, and I'll hand over to Joe.
I'm going to make it very short and sweet. It is customary on a day like today
Keep going, sir.
to hand over something special. Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Dad. Shall I open it now?
Absolutely. Gary's always one, I don't know if you know, for quoting certain important things in Jewish life, and I thought this book,
The Ethics of the Fathers.
The Ethics of the Fathers, would go a long way, and a lot of learning to be done. Anyway, enjoy.
Thank you very much.
I'll read it to you.
Thank you.
We'll start with the bracha. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks to the Caras again for hosting in this awesome African theme.
Pleasure.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam l'ritolam v'yihiu b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et ha'aretz v'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'kodsho Sheshet yamim ta'avod v'asita kol malchotecha v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha lo ta'aseh kol malacha ata u'bnecha u'vitecha avadecha v'amtecha u'vehemtecha v'gercha asher b'shirecha ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz et hayam et kol asher bam v'yanach v'yom hashvi'i al ken barech Adonai et yom HaShabbat v'yakadashu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Amen. Amen. Want to pass the wine around?
Everyone's got their...
Everyone's got their wine already.
Grape
Wow.
juice.
That's very
Anyone
efficient.
else?
L'chaim, everybody.
I'll get more grape juice for you.
Here we are. Here's grape juice.
See you at the wedding tomorrow.
Enjoy, guys.
Gary? Yeah?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamatzi lechem min haaretz.
Do you want to announce?
Guys, just in case anyone's interested, all the cold meat is kosher, except for the chicken. So if you're kosher, stay away from the chicken. Everything else is paro. And it looks amazing. Beautiful. Let's get stuck in. Nice animals.
I'm here about 3 hours before the wedding. I'm taking a few scenes before the wedding, about 3 hours before. The band's interrupting me, but they're playing really nice music. This is what's on the side. This is the marquee, and then outside, further back there is some more seating where probably the wedding's going to be. They're still setting up, as you can see. But Julie and Jade are here. Hello. She's pointing to the band. That's where the chuppah is. It's the bar area. Nothing here yet. Ice. There's a chuppah. This is my Jade-o. Jade. Jade.
Tonight's gonna be a good night. Oh, don't let it get dirty. Oh, no. Okay, we'll help you. Where's Grandpa?
Jade.
Say 1, 2, 3, cheese. Dad, can you watch while I just put the stuff up?
There's the bride. There's the bride. There's still the bride. Taking photographs.
Okay, so this is like, you normally go, it's like you're going fruit shopping. My hair's going to get ruined. raining now? Yeah. Dripping. Get up, Ange.
It's raining at the moment, but that's before the wedding.
That's it. And see those two girls behind you? Can you get them out of the way?
This is the fourth equal happiest day of my life. Nine. Thank you.
Beautiful day here in Melbourne, beautiful weekend, into an incredible night ahead of us. And Gary, I've known you since you didn't know how to get dressed, and now you know how to get dressed and you look good on your day, and I'm sure Amy's going to look just as good, probably better. You're just in time. Mazel tov.
You really started the speeches?
I realize now that you're marrying another mishpocha, another real family. It's an amalgamation of two big, wonderful set of human beings in the community, and you are destined to have a wonderful life, and you will sing the mazel and rocha. Amen.
No, honored to have you. Where on? Right, say it to us in Hebrew, and you're also honored to accept the yes. So what you're going to do, you're going to hand you the hanky, and you're going to lift in your head to show that you are contracting, accepting all the conditions that are in the law, which we've spoken about. Yeah, just the understanding. Yeah. Okay. It's also this white, so hang it up, and also called sweet surrender, so hold it up. It's up. Accept now. You see that? Alright. So Mark and I now sign so that you've accepted the conditions. You can sit down and that was very easy. Maybe we use them. You're signing to the C signature.
Okay.
And
come, Joe, come closer. Come closer. Come closer, Joe.
we can carry on with the other one. Alright, then this is the registry book. The name and signature. Ronnie, use your pen. Maybe Amy can carry on using hers. We do now
You've got an awesome responsibility. You realise that?
great mothers of the Jewish people, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, that. And we also thank you and Achotena Kalila Fair of Ava, and our sister Amygary, the mother of many beautiful children.
I'm talking now.
you on behalf of Viv and of Harry and of Jill and of Joe to the chuppah today of Amy and Gary. We're going to start, there are two distinct parts to the Jewish marriage ceremony. 2 glasses of wine indicate that. And we're going to start with the Borei Pri Agafen. As we do any happy, significant Jewish occasion, we say L'chaim, an affirmation of life and the celebration of life. And that's followed by the Birkat Erusin, which is the bracha of exclusive commitment by bride and groom to each other. Responsibility of everybody here is to answer loud, affirmative amen to each of the 2 brachot. And for those who are seated to please stand for the brachot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al harayot ועשה לנו את הארוסות, והתיר לנו את הנשואות לנו על ידי חופה וקידושין. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש עמו ישראל על ידי חופה וקידושין. אמן. Amy and Gary get to drink of the same cup of bracha, signifying the many cups of bracha blessings they'll share in their lives together. The critical part of the marriage ceremony, of this part of the ceremony, is the giving of the ring by Chatan to his bride. And that is done in the presence of 2 official witnesses of Eidim, and that's Mark Baker and myself. So call on Dr. Baker, please come forward. Gary, do we have a ring? My brother's got it. So this is your ring? Yeah? Alright, Mark is worth a foot. Okay. So if you take it and place it on it. Right hand. Hold it just in front, don't put it on.
הרי את מקודשת לי בטבעת זו כדת משה ישראל. With this ring you are married to me in the tradition of Moses and Israel.
You're married? Yes. that is the critical part. But to show that there are 2 distinct parts, and the other part, the actual Sheva Brachot, and the Chuppah part, which would take place sometimes almost up to a year later than this part of the ceremony. To show the distinction between the 2 parts, we're going to read the Ketubah now. So Gavin has the Ketubah for us.
Gavin.
I'd like to just show you this ketubah, which has been specially prepared, come from across the seas. It's a beautiful one, and it's in Aramaic, and Gary has already accepted all the conditions that only a few moments ago, the conditions in which we will hear about it in a few moments' time. The ketubah in its origins goes back over 2,000 years ago. It was there for a protection of a woman in marriage at a time when women's rights were unthought of and unheard of. It has an English quote from the Song of Songs, the top and the bottom. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. Anila Dodiva Dodili. And at the bottom, I have found the one in whom my soul delights. And the Ketubah reads as follows. באחד לשבת 7 ימים לחודש אדר השני שנת 5771 לבריאת עולם למניין שאנו מנים כאן במלבורן. איך החתן חיים יעקב בן יוסף אמר לה להדבצוצה מרים בת וישוע צבי. היי בגלולין שכדת משה וישראל ונפלת בוקר איזון מפנס איתי חיוכו גוברין יודעים. זו פלחין ומוקרין וזיינין ומפנס ונשם קושן ימנים יקים ואור ותלתי כסף הזה מעתן דחתי לפין דורייתא ומזונייך וקיצותי כרסיפוקת ומיאלה ותחתי ואורח לארץ פרט מרד מרים ותדרלת לדין ודת לדוניה דנאלת ובאבוע ואין בכסף בין לזב בין לחיקים במדו ושבשו שתירו ושבשו דאלסה הכל קיבל עליו רב חיים יעקב חתן דנא. So what we have said here so far is that Gary, his name in Hebrew is Chaim Yaakov ben Yosef, is married to Amy. His name is Miriam, daughter of Shayahu Tzvi. That's Harry. And they're getting married today on the first day of the week, the 7th day of the 7th month of Adar Sheni. And Gary said, I'm going to be a great husband and do whatever I have to do to keep you happy. Something along those lines. קיבל עליו רב חיים יעקב חתן דנא במאז קוקין כסף צור וצבי רב חיים יעקב חתן דנא בוסיף ממין דלאות מאז קוקין כסף צור אחרים כנגדן סך הכל 200 קוקין כסף צרוך וכך אמר רב חיים יעקב חתן דנא אחר ישתק תודה לדוניה לבסף תדק אבל היתה לב יסי באתרני ברון מכל שבר רק ניקסים וקניינים דהייתו נחול כל שמע דקנין עתיד אנא למקנה ניקסים דהייתו נפרד ודהייתו נפרד פולון יונה חיים בביים ונשכון נינו שתק תודה לדוניה ובסף תדק מינה ואפילו מן גלימה דעת כפר חיה בת החיה מיום תננו לעולם ואחריות שתקתו דנו דוניה ויוסף תדע קיבל עליו רב חיים יעקב חתן דנא כוחו מכל שטרי כתובות ותוספות דנהגין בבנות ישראל עשון כתיקון חוכמנו זיכרונם לברכה דלא כזמחת ולא תוספת שטרי וקנינא מן רב חיים יעקב בן יוסף חתן דנא דמרת מרים בת ישעיהו צבי בתול תדע על כל מה דקתו ומפורש שלה במנה דקת של המקנה והכל שביל לחיה. It is all Aramaic and it should sound like Aramaic to you because it's not Hebrew. That was a spoken language at the time. But Gary has promised here that he would, she assures Amy that she can have even the shirt off his back, clothing, furniture, jewellery, anything else, camels. It's all been promised over here. Now, in addition to the traditional document, which is actually quite a legal document, and they're actually monetary sums etc. mentioned there. Amy and Gary have also got a beautiful English document of commitment to one another. I'm going to read the first part, and then Gary is going to read the second part. So I'm going to read the first part. This Ketubah witnesses before God, family, and friends that on the first day of the week, the 7th day of the month of Adar Sheni, in the year 5771, corresponding to the 13th day of the month of March in the year 2011, here in Toorak, Melbourne, Australia, the bride, Amy Natalie Rosenberg, daughter of Vivian and Harry, and the groom Gary Darren Sanders, son of Jill and Joe, made this mutual covenant as equal partners in marriage. Surrounded today by family and friends, we promise to unite our lives in tenderness and devotion. We will protect, support and encourage each other as we create a loving future together. May our lives be intertwined forever and be as one in faith and in hope. As we share life's everyday experiences, we promise to strive for an intimacy that will enable us to share our innermost thoughts and feelings, to be sensitive at all times to each other's needs, to share life's joys and to comfort each other through life's sorrows, to challenge each other to achieve intellectual and physical fulfillment as well as spiritual and emotional tranquility. Inspired by our parents, we promise to establish a home committed to our Jewish heritage and linked eternally to the people of Israel. A home dedicated to peace, hope and respect for all people. A family filled with love and learning, goodness and generosity, compassion and integrity. Now I'll hand Those who are standing and would like to be seated at this point, please feel free to sit.
It's very wet.
on their golden wedding anniversary, couple were asked what was the secret of their success. And he replied, "When tempted to fight with fire, remember the fire department usually uses water." She said to her husband, "Always remember," she said, "if I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong." The ability to communicate is not only the basis of a good marriage, it's also what ensures that a marriage will endure and will flourish. If in real estate it's all about location, 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 in marriage it's all about communication, communication, communication. The power of communication is actually inscripted in an insight by Rashi, the great Jewish commentator. And the very first word of the parsha that we read yesterday in Shul, Time of the Yofru. It's encrypted in an insight of Rashi, with the Torah reading opened with the words, "Vayikra al Moshe, vayomar alav el Shem elav me'oel mo'ed." He called to Moshe, God called to Moses, and he spoke to him from the meeting tent. And says Rashi, notice that it says here, God called or summoned, and then he spoke. First he called, and then he spoke. It's in this order because it indicates that God didn't just burst in unexpectedly to Moshe, but he first ensured that he was ready for the conversation. He prepared him. He psyched him up. And real communication is not only about choosing the right words or choosing your words very carefully, it's also about choosing your timing, being acutely sensitive to where the other person is at. And that's the difference between simply talking and engaging empathically with another human being. And that's why Rashi said, the call here, the Vayikra here, is a call of intimacy. It's what he calls Lashon Chiba. It's a language of love. It's an articulation, he says, of the angels themselves. And this intimacy is emphasized by the fact that the call of God came to exclusively to Moshe. Even though God's voice is immensely powerful, it was personalized, it was one-on-one, it was face-to-face, it was heart-to-heart. And when I asked Amy and Gary independently what they thought was the most important ingredient in their marriage, both replied, open and honest communication. In getting to know them both better over this past year, I can testify to the ease, to the efficacy, and the relaxed good vibes of their communication with one another. It's a communication based on their common values and principles. They met, after all, Gary's Jewish Aid office when Amy went to volunteer. While she got a lot more than she volunteered for, and confirmed her intuition that, quote, there was something different about this guy. For Samo, she set off firecrackers in his head, and he couldn't find an iPhone app to simulate the experience of being with her. Amy and Gary, you're linked not only by your shared love and fire, but by the kind of families that you come from. As Gary has so very publicly declared in the AJN, we have both been brought up in warm, loving, supportive families, although from different worlds. In Vivian and in Harry, in Jill and in Joe, we've got a deep well of menschlichkeit, of caring, proud Jews, community-minded people, compassionate people. I know that you'll be feeling Jill's absence here acutely today, but I'm sure you're also feeling the presence of her love and support with you right here under the chuppah. And you're bringing together today not only the beaches of Surfers and of Musenberg, the sharpness of the Litvak horseradish, and there's a special sharpness to that, and the sweetness of Polish gefilte fish, the strong traditions which are represented by your living grandparents, by Pesha Unger and Basil Boy and Joe Berg. And of course you're also melding together today the swiftness, the lightness of the springbok, the manic hop of the kangaroo, and all the potency and power of the lick balls and Matokas, the Mankanti Bulawayo, something that you and I share in common. Vayikra is about a call to communicate. It's also about a call to commit and to sacrifice. And to all the sacrifices that are mentioned in the book of Vayikra, a little bit of salt is added. And salt, as you know, is something that adds, enhances flavor of whatever, brings up the flavor of whatever it is added to. So Amy, Gary, may you always communicate with clarity, with compassion and thoughtfulness. May you commit with imagination. May you add salt to the joy of your togetherness. And may there be peace in your home. The beautiful words that were recorded to you by Neshama Kalibach as you were coming to the Fuka there. Yihi Shalom B'Chelech, Shalva B'Armonotay. May there be peace in your home. May there be contentment in your sanctuary. May Hashem be with you, and may He hold you in the palm of His hand. That brings us to the conclusion of the first part of the ceremony, and to the last second part of the ceremony, which are the beautiful Sheva Brachot. And who knows, it's at the wedding that took place in the Garden of Eden, the very first wedding that we're going to refer back to now in the Sheva Brachot, Gan Eden Mikeden. It took place outdoors, and I'm sure God may have brought a little bit of rain down on that day as well as a sign of bracha. And I'm sure it was a garden as beautiful as this particular one, as beautiful as this setting. So we're going to go back all the way to the Garden of Eden. We're also going to become right here in the present, and we all get blessed for participating in this chuppah. And then we go forward to Yerushalayim in the last bracha, which Harry is going to read to us, Shebaras Ason V'Simcha, which takes us forward into the future with the hope that there will be shalom and shalva, peace and contentment, togetherness in the city of Jerusalem, indeed in Israel and all over. So once again, I ask everyone to answer loud amen to these brachot. If I can ask those who are going to be saying the Sheva brachot to please come forward at this point. So that's going to be Gavin Kotkin, Greg Shapiro, Simon Cooper, and Joe Harry here. And those who are seated, please stand for the Sheva brachot.
You knew, hey? You knew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borech b'riagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol bara lekodo. Gavin?
Alam, Hatzer Adam.
Amen. Greg?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam, asher yatzar et Adam b'tzelmo, b'tzelem dimut, tibnito, v'tikun, v'hitkin lo mimenu, b'binyan edayad. Baruch atah Adonai yotzei ha'adam.
Amen. Simon, for Chasis.
Sos Chasis v'tagel ha'akara, v'kibutz v'eineha, v'tocha v'simcha. Baruch atah Adonai v'sameach Tzion v'vaneha.
Amen.
שמח רעים אהובים, ושמח ככה יצריך בגן עדן מקדם. ברוך אתה אדוני, ושמח קטן וקלה.
Amen. And Harry.
Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher baras ason v'simcha, Adam v'kala. Asher baras ason v'simcha, Adam v'kala. Ila rina v'itza v'cheta, achva v'achva v'shalom v'reu. Meheira Adonai Eloheinu yishma, Barei Yehuda u'Sumot Yerushalayim, Kol sason v'kol simcha, Kol chazan v'kol kala, Kol sason v'kol simcha, Kol chazan v'kol Megillatan Baruch Atah Adonai Mesameach Atanim Hakala.
Why didn't you drink it through the moon? What's it doing now? What's it doing?
We've now reached the final moment of the final moment. We've completed the halakhic requirements for the chuppah, and as a sign that his love for Gary, she's going to give him their first gift in marriage, which is giving him a ring, and she's going to do that right now.
Ani ledodi, ledodi li. I am my beloved is for me.
And now, as a sign of the fact that even at the moment of our greatest joy, or greater joy than being under the chuppah on one's wedding day, we're still mindful of the fact that the world is undergoing such turmoil at this very point, Japan and in other places. And our thoughts go out to the fact that the world is still not healed and mended, but that each time Khatan and Kala are committed to each other, and in this case are committed to social justice and to Tikkun Olam as our couple are, they bring us a little closer to recognizing, bringing us closer to that healing of the world.
He wants to see him break the glass.
Can you tell me where we're right now? It's a big one, Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, give him a big round of applause. Come on, let's make some noise. Here we go.
Shalom
Hear it for my wife, Amy Salmon. I'm going to miss saying fiance, but wife so much better. We're going to start off with Simon, brother Simon, to say Hamotzi, please. Let's hear it for Simon and Archie.
Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam hamotzi min haaretz.
We're going to be honest with you all.
Quiet!
This wedding has been stressful to plan. So we hear. We wouldn't really know because we've been relaxing on beaches in Hawaii, Cape Town, and photographing elephants in a game reserve.
Thank you, Viv and Harry, for not only creating Amy, I think she's a great human, but for also turning your garden into this incredible dream wedding for us Thank you so much. A huge thanks to all of you for making the effort to be here to celebrate with us tonight. Rabbi Ganendi, thank you for the beautiful chuppah and for your truly inspiring words. Thanks to all the awesome people who travelled from Sydney. Sydney, are you here? Hey, Sydney. I'd like to make a special mention of 3 Aboriginal elders from Tumala who travelled all the way to be with us tonight. Auntie Faye, Auntie Madge, and Uncle Rowdy. It is really a privilege that you made the trek here tonight. Thank you so much. We'd also like to pay our respects to the traditional owners of this land and acknowledge their elders, both past and present.
To my cousin Kate Rosenberg from Israel, my special friend Binks from Singapore, you make this simcha complete for me.
Dan, thanks for coming from Israel to be my best man. Yep, shout for yourself. Yep, that's not weird, okay. We look forward to hearing some words of wisdom from you later. To Nisi from Shanghai. Ni hao ma. The Tanks reunion has been a sweet one. To Shap and Cooper from South Africa, thanks for being my best friends and for coming all the way from Joburg. Coops, mazel tov for your wedding last week. Amy and I were honoured to be a part of it, and we appreciate that you sacrificed your honeymoon to be with us tonight. To my awesome Auntie Nade, also from Johannesburg, South Africa. You are a real role model to me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done for me. Thanks also for bringing your stud muffin boyfriend David along to the wedding. And to Ronch, who's come all the way from Morocco. Shukran to Kif Ronch. This whole love story actually happened when 10 months ago Ronch sent an email to the both of us saying the following.
Hello, Amy and Samo. Amy, I think Maya has mentioned to you about volunteering with Jewish Aid, and I think in particular the Derech Eretz program in Indigenous communities. Samo, I mentioned to you that Maya has a friend who is interested in volunteering. Hello, Amy and Samo. Amy, I think Maya has mentioned to you about volunteering with Jewish Aid, and I think in particular the Derech Eretz program in Indigenous communities. Samo, I mentioned to you that Maya has a friend who is interested in volunteering. Amy, meet Samo. Samo, meet Amy. Now go and change the world. With love, Mr. Ronch.
Thank you, Ronch, for sending that email, and Maya for instructing him to do so. 10 months later, Amy has spent many hours volunteering with Jewish Aid Sudanese Women's Group. There have been many lunches at Nest, 3 overseas trips together, 3 engagement parties, and here we stand tonight.
It's been an incredible journey, and our wedding tonight is really about all the special people in this garden who have made us the people we are today.
There are several important individuals that have unfortunately not been... Okay. I can just shout. One, two, one, no. That have not there are several important individuals that have unfortunately not been around to watch the AR and GS love story unfold. Our beloved grandparents, Sam and Bessie Samovitz, Helen Boyer, Benjamin and Malka Rosenberg, and Charles Unger. I'm sure you're all doing the horror together in heaven tonight. We love you very, very much and miss you terribly.
Papa, all you have ever wanted was to see me happy with a boyfriend. Sorry that it took me so long to find Gary. I was just making sure I chose someone perfect. You would love him so much, and he makes a great travel partner.
It's still you, babe.
Nana, having you here tonight means the world to me, and I look forward to watching you and Gary dance together soon. I love you very much.
To my Zayda Basil Boyer, who's in Joburg tonight, I'm so pleased you got to meet Amy on our recent trip to South Africa. Thanks for not only teaching me about sport, but for also teaching me about what it means to be a good sport. Zaid, you are a good sport. To my father Joe, you're an absolute mensch. The dedication and love you have shown for our family is truly appreciated by all of us. The way you have been there for Mom over the past 35 years, but in particular over the last 6 weeks, has been so inspiring for me and your other good-looking sons. Dad, I admire your caring nature, your zest for life, and your dance moves. Mom often says to me that if I can be half as good a husband and father as you, then I will be a legend. I think she's right. Let's hear it for Joe! You'll see. Mom, thank you for screaming on the sidelines at my under 7B soccer games. Thank you for telling me I had a good voice at my bar mitzvah. I really believed you. Thank you for all the Doll's House toasted cheeses, free counselling sessions, and discussions about world politics. Julie, you've always been there for me, and thank God you will continue being there for me. I'm sorry that you're not in Melbourne tonight to celebrate with us, but I'll be in Sydney next week with my beautiful wife, and I'll be there in the future, hopefully near future, with your beautiful new grandchildren. Julie, you're my mentor, my editor, my friend. I love you so much, Mom, and wish you a speedy recovery. Amy's wearing your beautiful diamond earrings tonight, and I think she looks like a princess.
Jill and Joe, thank you for moving to Australia. Even though we have only really just met and we live in different states, I really feel like I've known you guys for much longer. Partly because of the way Gary constantly speaks about you, and partly because of how welcome you've made me feel. I thank you both so much for allowing me to be part of your family, and I'm very excited to be another Mrs. Samo. Joe, you're such a beautiful, gentle soul, a soul trait that I know Gary has got from you, which makes me love him even more. Jill, I can see where Gary gets his gorgeous, outgoing personality from. I love your humour and honesty. At least I feel secure in Gary's decision to marry me, because if anyone would speak up with any doubts for their son, it would be Jill. Jill, we are so sorry that you are not here with us tonight. But I can't wait to see you soon and show you my wedding dress.
My mother would be so proud you're speaking with a South African accent. The last 5 months I've been telling as many people as possible that I am marrying Amy Rosenberg. I actually try and tell everyone that has a second to listen. The reason is because I'm so damn proud. Most of the time the response I hear is that Viv and Harry's daughter? I smile and say, you betcha. No, I don't say you betcha, I just say yes. And they say, you are marrying into the most wonderful family. Viv and Harry, I haven't known you so long, but I love you like parents. After 2 months of dating Amy, I met with you to discuss what you thought of me proposing to your ridiculously good-looking daughter. In that 1.5 hour chat, we spoke about family values, Yiddishkeit, supportive parenting, the importance of education, strong work ethic, family holidays, and love. And we spoke about many kids, we did. And listening to you talk about values and watching you interact with your family and friends is truly inspiring, and you really are role models to Amy and I. And again, we look forward to making lots of grandchildren for the two of you as well. Maybe twins, like I'll stop saying it, sorry.
Mum and Dad, I would tear a picture of this wedding out from a magazine and put it in my wish scrapbook. You make my dreams come true. And tonight I'm celebrating my dream wedding with my dream guy. You worked like an amazing team to create this wedding for us. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thanks for putting the house demolition on hold for tonight. This house has hosted so many special events. I'm so excited to create my own 1059 with GS, with Gary. It may not be as big, but this house is not about the bricks and stairwells. It's about the love, hospitality and warmth that emanates every time you walk in. Dad, I feel so privileged to be your daughter. I love the way that you are able to devote your whole being to all those around you. Whether it's negotiating a corporate deal, adjusting the signage at the art factory, or joking around with the grandkids, you make us feel so treasured and special, and that at that moment we're the only thing that matters in the world. Okay. Mum, your generosity knows no bounds. From the first waking moment until you go to sleep, your only consideration is what you can do for those you love. Whether it's relationship advice, new age medical care, or weekly fruit deliveries, we know you only think of us, and I'm so grateful to you for all that you do. Everyone always asks how you manage with so many kids. Your answer is always that the kids were easy. Not true. It wasn't us. You guys make parenting look easy. The attention, love and support I get from both of you makes me feel like I'm an only child. But it's not just me. Every child and grandchild of yours feels like this. Thank you for not thinking I was crazy when I approached you and said I've met someone and I think I'm going to marry him. I love you both for taking Gary in like another son. I'd like to propose a toast to my parents, Harry and Viv, and to Gary's parents, Joe and Jill. We're so lucky to have role models like the four of you.
To the parents. After I finish dancing, I'm going to call Harry and Viv, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, to say a few words. Harry and Viv!
Does anybody have any readers on about +2? Mine went with my